Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. We're going to jump right in and tackle a question that, sounds pretty simple on the surface, but it's actually one of the most fascinating questions out there. What is history, really?
And you know what? I want to give a huge special welcome to all the freshman college students over at Romblon State University, San Fernando campus. Seriously, we made this explainer just for you. The whole idea is to help you kickstart your subject for the semester and hopefully get you looking at history in a totally different light.
Okay, so let's get right into it. I want you to think for a second. When you hear that word history, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Come on, be honest. For a lot of us, it's kind of this feeling of dread, right? Because we've been taught to believe it's all about one thing.
You know, this massive, super boring list of names, dates, and places that you've just got to cram into your brain before an exam. Sound familiar? Well, if that's you, trust me, you are not alone. But here's the good news, the really good news. That is not what history is actually all about. Not even close.
So let's just throw that old idea out the window right now. Because history isn't some dusty, static list of facts. Not at all. It's way more like being a detective. It's an active, ongoing investigation, a process of real discovery.
And this quote right here, it absolutely nails it. See, history isn't really about forgotten kings and dusty old books. It's the study of people, real, living, breathing human beings. It's about figuring out what they believed, what they wanted, how they lived their day-to-day lives, the societies they created. When you boil it all down, it's the story of us.
And get this, the proof is right there in the word's origin. The word history actually comes from this old Greek word, historia. And you know what it means? Knowledge acquired through inquiry or investigation. How cool is that? The word itself tells us our job isn't just to memorize answers. It's to be a detective. It's all about asking the right questions and hunting for clues.
But here's where things took a turn. The meaning didn't stay the same. It started out in Greek as this awesome idea of active investigation, right? But then, as it moved into Latin, it slowly transformed. It started to mean the account of the past, and specifically, an account based on written documents and evidence. So, the focus shifted from the process of asking questions to the final product, the written story. And believe it or not, that small change, well, it created a massive problem that lasted for centuries.
And that whole problem is what leads us to this next part. Because here's a fun little twist for you. The study of history has its own history. The way we think about the past has changed and evolved so much over time. And thankfully, it's become way more interesting and inclusive.
So you can basically see the journey right here. It all starts in ancient Greece with that idea of inquiry. But then, for hundreds and hundreds of years, history became pretty much just the story of the rich and powerful. You know, the monarchs, the heroes, the generals. That's what led to this really rigid, almost stubborn rule that historians lived by. No document, no history. But today? Oh, we've completely smashed that old way of thinking. Now, history is so much bigger. It includes everything from oral traditions passed down through generations, to artifacts dug up from the ground, to the personal memories of everyday people.
And that old rule, no document, no history, it really forces us to ask a massive, and frankly, a really troubling question. I mean, think about it. What about all the people, all the cultures that didn't have written records? Does that mean they had no past? Does it mean that entire civilizations whose stories were passed down orally or whose records were maybe lost or destroyed, that they just, poof, didn't exist in history?
No way. Of course they existed. And this is exactly why the modern view of history is so important and so powerful. The old, traditional view, it was so limited. It was pretty much just official government papers and the stories of the elites, the kings, the nobles. But the modern view, man, it's so much richer, so much more real. We're talking about oral traditions like epics and songs, artifacts and buildings, the memories your grandparents share with you, the stories of regular people, of peasant families, of indigenous communities. It's about finally giving a voice to everyone who was silenced or ignored by the official record. Okay, so this has all been really interesting stuff, right? But let's bring it back to you, right here, right now. As a student, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but why does this actually matter to me? Well, here's the answer. Studying history isn't just about learning about the past, it's about building a personal toolkit for your present and for your future. I absolutely love this quote from B.H. Littleheart. Think about it. History isn't like a GPS that tells you exactly where to go. It doesn't give you all the answers, but what it does give you is maybe even more valuable, a giant map of all the pitfalls and wrong turns humanity has taken before. It's like a big set of warning signs, showing us the mistakes we've made over and over, so that maybe, just maybe, we can be smart enough not to repeat them.
So as you go through this semester, just remember, with every lesson, you're adding new tools to that toolkit. And what's in there? Let's see. You're getting a stronger sense of who you are and where you come from. You're getting the ability to look at problems in the world today and actually understand their roots. You're developing tolerance and open-mindedness, and maybe the most important tool of all, you are sharpening your critical thinking skills. Seriously, that's a superpower. Plus, it's the foundation for tons of other subjects. And hey, let's be real, it can be just plain fun. So, I want to leave you with this one final thought as you kick off your studies. We've established that history is our window to the past. But it's not a museum piece that you just look at from behind a rope. No way. The real question, the challenge, and the biggest opportunity for you is this. How are you going to use it to build your future?
All right, I really hope this explainer got you fired up for the semester ahead. Now, if you want more helpful stuff like this to support you on your journey, please come and join our class community. Just head on over to our YouTube channel. It's called No Problem, Only Solution. Make sure you subscribe, give this explainer a like, and definitely drop a comment. We're going to be putting out a lot more of these explainers all semester long to help you crush it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.